your time has expired. Mr. Swalwell is recognized.
Thank you. I want to focus on what access to locational data and personal data means with respect to living in a post-Dobbs world where a woman's right to reproductive freedom is now being infringed upon, and we're seeing state efforts to try and track down patients who are crossing state lines to seek abortion services. The Attorney General of Indiana is investigating a doctor who performed a termination of pregnancy on a 10-year-old who had to leave Ohio after she was raped to go seek this service in Indiana. And so I have a lot of concerns about what this could mean in the future. And I want to begin with the Republicans in the minority have promised that if they were to achieve the majority, if they were to win the House in November, that they are going to use broad subpoena powers in their new majority. And so my first question is for Professor Wexler. Professor Wexler, if Jim Jordan, as chairman of the Judiciary Committee, wanted to seek a patient's records or a patient's travels under locational data that's available, would he be able to do this with the amount of data that is out there?
Absolutely. The existing data would be vulnerable to such a subpoena. There's a wealth of data to track pregnant people's actions seeking medical care. However, if this committee enacted an evidentiary privilege, that would also have the power to block a congressional subpoena.
And if Chairman Jordan and a Republican majority wanted to go after doctors who perform abortion services or doctors who are in communication with patients, is there enough data out there that under the law today he would be able to do that?
Yes, there is.
And if Chairman Jordan in a Republican majority wanted to go after abortion service providers to understand who they're communicating with, would he be able to subpoena this type of data?
Yes, he would, and existing privacy statutes like HIPAA would not prevent that, even though they apply to traditional medical service providers because they have exceptions for law enforcement access, and that would apply for Congress. I'm almost certain I could double check that and provide confirmation for the record.
And in a Republican majority, would Chairman Jordan be able to subpoena companies who provide travel reimbursements or travel to employees who have to leave their state to go to a state that can provide abortion services?
Yes.
Crisis pregnancy centers, which continue to skyrocket as states across the country ban abortion, are faith-based groups that often misrepresent themselves as reproductive health clinics. Their mission is to dissuade pregnant women from having abortions at any cost. A recent Time magazine investigation shined a light on how far these centers will go to harm women who are seeking essential health services. In fact, the Time study found that these centers collect substantial sensitive data on women who come to them for help, including addresses, marital status, demographic information, sexual and reproductive histories, test results, ultrasound photos, and information shared during consultations. But because crisis pregnancy centers are not licensed medical clinics and offer their services for free, they are not legally bound by federal health data privacy laws. Furthermore, these clinics often do not employ privacy notices which prohibit data obtained from being sold to the highest bidder. Professor Wexler, can you explain how crisis pregnancy centers would be able to weaponize data against women who are merely seeking additional resources when they aren't able to obtain an abortion in their state?
Well, any private entity who obtains data that would identify people who are seeking abortions could voluntarily hand that information to law enforcement, who could use it for anti-abortion prosecutions, or under some state statutes, they could sue as civil plaintiffs as well.
So you're telling me that a woman who is making the very personal decision about whether or not she wants to have a pregnancy and have a baby could go to a pregnancy center, consult with the employees at the pregnancy center, and that they would be able to obtain data under the laws that exist today and turn it over perhaps as a bounty, as you would be able to do in Texas if they believed that she was going to have an abortion.
That's correct.
I yield back.
Mr. Tiffany is recognized.